Hi everyone and welcome to the latest monologue. And on this one, I'm saying there is this thing which has been introduced in Kenya some years ago, but now things are skyrocketing and everything is ballooning and people are losing property unknowingly. And this is the idea of carbon credit, which is coming under the something they call, I don't know, green growth and climate action. Green growth and climate action. Remember the tour of the president to the UK? One of the agreements they signed was that we've actually noted it down, that to mitigate climate effects, the two countries have committed to unlocking at least 35.5 billion Kenya shillings towards green financing. 35.5 billion Kenya shillings towards green financing. Well, we cannot climb a tree from the top. Let's start by understanding what green financing is. And green financing is just funding renewable energy projects. Funding renewable energy projects, energy efficiency improvements, sustainable agriculture, and promoting carbon and promoting a low carbon and sustainable economy. And that's where the idea of carbon credit comes in. There is this organization by the name Soils for Future Something Africa, which is lying people who is selling carbon credits. Let me just say selling because, but it is all a scam. I think it's called Soils for Future Africa. It's an organization which is doing carbon credits in Kenya. And what they are doing, it's just theft. It's just stealing the resources of the people. And we need to understand that carbon credits is not a business. It is not a deal. There is no way US air can be, there's no way an air can be polluted at Silicon City in US, and then now we are cleaning it in Kenya. That is nonsense. Let them pay for their own mistakes. They are the one polluting their environment. Why do they involve us in their discourse? Let them find their own solutions. And this is what they do. People are promised, I don't know, $2 per acre in a year. That Soil for Future Africa company was promising Kenyans, especially around Kajiado there, in the Maasai land, $2 of acre, $2 per acre in a year. If we can convert that into Kenya shillings, it's roughly, give or take, 250 shillings. 250 shillings is not money. Whether you are young, whether you are a child, whether you are old, whether you are, regardless of the gender, age, location, that is not money. We have to agree with that. In fact, it can only buy only one meal, and very poor meal, very cheap one. And then now you are 250 shillings in a year. And then now for it to look like a deal, you are committing your land for, you are leasing your land for a period of, they are giving a maximum of even 40 years. So if you can take 40 years by $2, it can look like it's a significant amount of money, but surely 2 acres of land, that is devaluation. It is too low. It is too low. I've said $2 per year It is not money. Regardless of whether your gender, regardless of your gender, your location, or whatever, it is not money. We need to be realistic. And this is a thing that is being pushed to our ignorant people. And we have people sitting in the offices of conservation. And our political leaders, the MPs, the MCS, the governors, they have been given something to cover up this idea. And that's why I'm saying that leaders, and come 2027, please, or 2026, can we make up our minds? Can we vote using our minds and our brains and not using our bellies? Because that's where we make a mistake. We need to chase out these crooked politicians who have no idea. Legacy politicians, they have nothing they can do. And they cannot formulate any policy from within themselves. Any policy to help Kenyan, they cannot. And that's the problem we are having in our country, in Africa and in our country, Kenya. We don't have leaders, we have dealers. And please, the potential voters and everyone, can we make up ourselves so that come the next elections, we don't make this mistake. Now, back to the story. If at all carbon credits was a legit idea, the richest institutions would be KWS and KFS. Trust you me. Why are they not? Because KWS manages around 8% of the Kenya's landmass. How much is that? Millions and millions of those are millions of acres of land. If at all this idea, because what they come, they tell you, oh, we are not doing something with your land, your title, the title is still yours, but they have controlled the activities you can carry out on that farm. So it is useless. You cannot do whatever you cannot plan on how to utilize your land because it is under their control. If this thing of carbon credit was real, I'm saying KWS and KFS would be the richest institutions in the country. Why are they not? Why can't they give their land to the for carbon credits? Why? For the KFS, it manages over 2.6 million hectares of land. 2.5 million hectares of land. That is a big parcel of land. Why can't they commit it to carbon credit trading and make money out of it? Which now tells you that we are being lied as Kenyans. We are being duped. We are being lied to. And we need to acknowledge lies for what they are, and we say no. And let's take it as personal responsibility to educate one another. Those who live in urban areas, can you try to reach out to the shacks or to your locals? And those people are signing very crazy documents. They don't understand what it's all about. They are taking advantage of the ignorance of the people of the country. With the help of the politicians whom we elected to protect us and to represent us. So I've said, if carbon credits was a good idea, it was a legit business, KWS and KFS would be the richest institutions right now. And also, well, we all know, in Africa and especially in Kenya, those people who own large parcels of land are, right, politicians. Why can't they give their own land? Why can't they give their own land if at all it is a legit business? like like Uhuru Kenyatta's family. They own over 500 million acres of land. Why can't they commit it to carbon credit? Because this thing started many, many years ago. It was mooted in our country very, very many years ago. Even under the previous regime, it was still there. It's only now it has now come to boiling point. But it has been still with us. Why can't they give their own land, if at all it is a legit business? So my fellow Kenyans, let's safeguard our natural heritage. And let's dismiss this idea of carbon credits as utter useless and stupidity.